There are people that use Patreon to give us money and sponsor our show in a roundabout way, which is really cool.
No, there are. There really are. So we've got tons of people who contribute to the show. We really appreciate them. We have to start every show with our sponsors because that's just what we need to do to give back to these
Yes.
people who give so much to us. How about Devin over there at the Only at Mattress Giant level tier of the show? Thank you, Devin. We've got Louisville Max, the lone guy up there at the Ultimate Final Lappers tier of the Patreon. Thank you, Max. We appreciate you, buddy. David Letchworth over there at the Only Mattress Giant level tier as well. Thank you, David. Longtime listener of the show has jumped into the sponsorship game. We appreciate you. And of course, the longest tenured sponsor of the show, Joe Bike, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you, everyone on this list. Back to you, Kara. Let's get this show started.
This is the Final Lap Weekly, a show where a couple of guys talk about all things NASCAR. My name's Kerry Murphy, a longtime host of all things titled The Final Lap. And our co-host for the show is Toby Christie. He is founder and editor-in-chief at TobyChristieCom and editor-in-chief at RacingAmerica.com.
Yes. That's me. I am what I am. I am who I am. Whatever. Popeye the
You got a
Sailor or
man.
something.
You're a man with a lot of hats.
I try. Yeah. Look, a different one this week.
Yes, and it's spiffy too.
It's pretty nice. It's not bad.
I like it. I want one. That's not fair.
I've
I
had
want
this
a
for like 4 or 5 years.
I want a hat with colored lines on it.
Yeah.
So, what do we got going on here? We got fantasy racing coming up with Rowdy Dragon. He'll be on giving us his fantasy stuff for the last race in this round of the playoffs. I can't believe it's already been we're coming up on the last race.
Yeah, we're so close. It's crazy. And, last week I boldly stated that Bubba Wallace would for sure be moving on to the next round. And,
Yeah,
oops.
what happened there?
Well, it is what it is. But hey, I wanted to bring it up. I wanted to be on the forefront of us talking about that
You didn't want to
because,
sweep it under the rug?
no, I'm not one of those guys that when I make some kind of stupid, bold prediction, I just hide from it. I own it. It's okay.
He still has a chance.
Well, yeah, it's not over yet, but it's not
Right.
looking good. That's for sure.
No, of course. So let's get into Kansas Speedway, race number 2 in this round of the playoffs, and let's run things down 10-1. You got that list handy? I got it here.
Yeah, let's
So
do it.
I'll read the list and you just weigh in. Alex Bowman at number 10. Did we hear his name at all?
No, and he's been kind of one of those
Okay.
guys that had a top 10 at Daytona to try to work his way in, but has really
Yeah,
been kind of out to lunch since he came back from the injury. So good to see him back in the top 10.
sure. Not having lunch. Brad Keselowski at number 9.
And Brad Keselowski continues the strong run for RFK Racing. I know his teammate ran into some issues in this race at the end, so it was good that he
Yeah.
was able to kind of bring home that good finish for RFK Racing.
Seabell was the Christopher Bell was the pole sitter, right?
Yeah, Bell was the pole sitter. This is like 85 straight poles for him, it seems like.
He is pretty fast.
Yep, pretty fast in qualifying, but it doesn't translate to
Okay.
race
What have you been,
finishes for those
what have you been
guys. So,
drinking?
I mean, full disclosure, yes. So,
What? A little early.
well, okay. So I wasn't feeling very good yesterday, and so the voice
Okay.
was terrible. You could probably still hear it a little bit. It's not very good today, but it was horrible right before the show started. So my wife was like, "Well, when we were in choir back in the day, they always told us to, gargle some alcohol and drink alcohol, and it'll burn all that stuff off your vocal cords."
Wow. I have never heard that
So
in all the years of radio, but it's working.
it is. So I actually sound kind of like myself. It doesn't sound 100% like me, but it's pretty close. I'll take it.
Yeah. We should probably get through this quickly then before the pumpkin happens. I'm Toby Christie. Kyle Busch at number 7.
I am actually impressed with this run because he had the issue in practice with the cut tire, crashed the car. They repaired that car, but he had to
Right.
start at the rear of the field, and to have that kind of speed and that kind of just tenacity to rebound from a really bad start to the weekend is really, really impressive for those guys.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to find my old document. So if I seem, not all there. Chase Elliott, number 6.
Yeah, and I mean Chase Elliott, there was a little bit of frustration there with his teammate that was shown during the race. He's addressed that in the little bit afterwards. I'm sure we'll get into that later. But another good run as he continues to chase that owner's championship. He's out of the driver's championship, obviously, but the number 9 car is still very alive in the Owners' Points Championship.
Right. He is.
Yes.
You're just awkwardly stopping today. Our timing is off. I don't know what
It's
it
the
is.
alcohol, man. That's what it is. It's the
So it's
whiskey.
weird. It's all of a sudden you're just done. Okay. Joey Logano, number 5, and I'm going to be ready for the next one.
Yeah, you be ready, okay? So Joey Logano, this is another one that's kind of surprised me because he was kind of,
And
I mean,
Kyle
he was
Larson
running.
at number 4.
Whoa, okay.
Oh, was that too early? See, our timing is just.
We're all off, man. We're not like Tua out there, that's for sure. Tua for the Miami Dolphins had perfect
Usually
timing
we are
last week.
boom, 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 just
Yeah,
on it.
we've been terrible. So it is what it is. I mean, hey, we're due one of
Eric
these
Jones.
shows every now and again. I don't even know where we're at anymore.
I don't either. We had Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, Eric Jones is where we're at. Any comments?
So Kyle Larson, the other end of that, teammate beef there on pit road,
What was that?
Finish. So obviously Larson was trying to avoid Keselowski, who was coming out of pit road. He was in a 3-wide battle with his teammate, and I don't remember who the third car was at this point. So he swerves to avoid and runs into Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott doesn't like it. And as they're exiting pit road, he runs back into Kyle. And then after the race, goes up next to Kyle's car and they have a conversation. It's like, okay, these two have kind of had some on-track run-ins in the past. Is this a problem that they're going to have here? So, yeah, it seems like things are squared away now, though.
There's some exclusive content over on YouTube about all of what Toby just said.
Well, that's if you were picked up while I was talking. I doubt it. So here, say something and then do it.
That's right. Oh, that was gold, Jerry. Gold. Stupid Zoom. Denny Hamlin at number 2 comes up one spot short of the win, but he's still happy about who did win.
He's happy about who won, but man, he was sleeping on that last restart. That could have been a Denny Hamlin win had he not been paying attention to the guy behind him and would have been paying attention to people in front of him.
There you go. Yes. And why he's happy is his car won the race. Tyler Reddick was driving his car and nabs his 5th career win, 2nd this season. The 45 car has now won 3 of the last 5 races at Kansas, and he launches himself into the next round of the playoffs. That's what it would sound like.
Yes, with the catapult and everything. It's all done. He's there. He and Kyle Larson have secured their spots in the next round, and everybody else is still fighting for what's left.
Yep. That's their problem, is it?
It is. And so you talk about people who had really bad issues in this race. Obviously, the 2311 teammate to Tyler Reddick, Bubba Wallace, ran into issues with the tire. But
this next one's huge.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Martin Truex Jr.
Yeah, regular season champion.
Who had him on their grid as going out in round 1?
I don't think anybody. None of the analysts. Nobody out there. There's no way.
There's no way. With the sheer momentum they had coming into the playoffs, the confidence he was showing.
Yeah.
There's no way you would pick him.
New deal for next year. Boat in the garage or wherever he keeps his boat. I don't know.
Yeah, wherever those tracker boats go, that's where he's at. But yeah, no, it's just one of those things where it makes no sense, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah. And also crazy, William Byron spins early on, doesn't really hit anything, doesn't damage anything. But the car was out to lunch then. It was like, guys, I can't do it anymore. I'm done. 24 car here.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, once that car spun, that car was never the same in the rest of the race. No matter what he did.
Something must have happened.
I mean, when you spin cars backwards, sometimes you blow engines and sometimes you have things that get tweaked and twisted. And once it's like that, you can't get it back.
Yeah, keep it going forward, I guess.
Definitely. That would be a good sound strategy.
And we've mentioned like 89 times already, Bubba Wallace blew a tire while running second at the track that he has won at.
Yeah, and it looked early like I was going to be very, very right. And then that happened. And I was like, well, that is an unfortunate week for that to have occurred. But, it's okay.
Yeah.
He still has Bristol where he's okay. We'll see how that goes. But for Martin Truex Jr., that's the guy I'm really worried about because he's had all this momentum, all this great season after such a bad year last year. Comes back, 3 wins, regular season champion. He's now 7 points behind the cut line going into Bristol. His worst track on the schedule, arguably. I mean, he just has not had good runs there over his career. I don't feel very confident. Yeah, Truex.
Oh, my.
He has like
Yes,
four top tens there in like 32 starts.
but he's been better at short tracks lately.
He has, but I don't feel confident about his chances going into this because he
Wow.
has to leapfrog Kevin Harvick. I don't see it.
Wow. So looking at the standings, the four guys on the outside looking in, we mentioned Martin Truex Jr., Bubba Wallace, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has been there the whole time, I think, and Michael McDowell, same deal. Michael is 40 points out. Ricky is 22 out. Bubba Wallace 19 out, and like you mentioned, Martin Truex Jr. is 7 out, with Kevin Harvick being on the bubble, 7 points to the good, which is still not comfortable. Either is Joey Logano or Christopher Bell or Chris Buescher or, well, I guess Ross is somewhat comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, somewhat, especially with the performance they've had going in the playoffs. I think he's very happy with where he's at, Chastain, that is. But it's just funny. We talked about how there were no for sure locks of being out of this playoffs. And the three guys that everybody was saying was a for sure lock are below the cut line. Now, of course, Martin Truex Jr. is a huge surprise. But the three that everybody kind of expected are actually there, which I'm kind of surprised by.
Yeah. If you look at the list, if you look at the standings, it's not comfortable for most on the list. So
we'll see what Bristol holds. This is going to be a pressure-packed race from start to finish. But at the end of the day,
totally.
At the end of the night, actually, we'll know who our championship 12 are.
10 drivers had a problem in this race, which is playoff drivers, that is. It's huge.
Yeah, it's massive, and it just kind of, piggybacks off what we saw at Darlington. So many of them ran into issues at Darlington, which put them behind the 8 ball, where they had to kind of play catch-up at Kansas, and that leads to more trouble when you're playing catch-up at Kansas. So it's one of those things where problems just keep compounding more problems, and at the end of the day, you end up not advancing in the playoffs because of it.
Right. Is the 8 ball humongous, or is it tiny? You have to squish down to kind of hide behind it, or how does that work?
I like Magic 8 balls myself, but
well, those are a little bit bigger, but still kind of hard to hide behind.
Yeah, but they have all the answers, which is nice.
Yeah, I don't know how accurate those are.
Oh, they're not accurate? I was always told they were 100% accurate.
Maybe, but I don't think so.
I once asked it if I would end up having NASCAR as my career, and it said yes, definitely.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. See? You're here because of that.
Yes. So there you go.
All right. Should we get into Rowdy? He's getting kind of antsy over there.
I think we should definitely do that.
Yeah, let's have Rowdy have the mic. We share mics these days because there's no, COVID's coming back, kind of. Maybe we shouldn't do that anymore. Anyway, I'll give him the mic. I'll hand over the mic to him. He's going to do fantasy NASCAR picks and stats and expertise and all that stuff for Bristol Motor Speedway this coming weekend. So check out Rowdy right now.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Rowdy Dragon back for this week's Final Lap Weekly Fantasy Update. Well, we're fresh off of Kansas Speedway, heading into a short track, Bristol Motor Speedway. Before we head over to Bristol, let's take a look at these stage winners and see who performed their best at Bristol. So for your first stage, we have a 4-way tie. Emsoft Pub, Happy 57, Robertson Racing, and Doing Danica Daily, all P1 in that stage. The second stage goes to 24073 Race Chick, and 24073 Race Chick also went on to win for the week, scoring 257 points, 55 stage points on the day. Maximum for the day would be 263. Race Chick was real close. Good job there. Okay, looking at Rowdy, Toby, and Carrie's finishes. Rowdy, I finished in the 143rd place. Rough go at it this week. Still sitting in P6 though. Toby Christie, his race standing was 39th, and he currently sits in the 73rd position. Terry Murphy, Jimmy is back. Rough day for him, finishing in 180th position, currently sitting in 130th. Now looking at our oh-so-generous sponsors, Joe Bike, finished P135, currently sitting in P23. Louisville Max finished P46 and currently sitting P13. Devin, DL Racing King 11, finished P223. Really rough day for him, sliding back to 138th in the league. And David, Wolfie Dragonfly, he finished in the 180th spot right there with Kerry, currently sitting 31st in the league. Okay, let's take a look at some driver picks for this week, see who we have. It's a Chevy week for us here. Got 3 Chevy cars. Looking at the number 9 car, Chase Elliott first. He's got 12 races run at the track with an average finish of 12.3. He's got 4 top 5 finishes, finishing up there in 1/3 of his races. He's got 6 top 10 finishes, finishing up there in half of his races. He's got 439 laps led over his career, averaging out to 36.58 laps led per race, and Chase is still chasing his first win at the track. Elliott's got 14 out of 21 stage points acquired throughout his career, 3 of those being stage wins. Now, Chase is a great performer at the Coliseum. His recent finishes outside the top 10 include May of 2020, where he won both stages, and with 3 to go while battling for the lead, had a wreck, ending his day in P22. In the fall of 2021, Chase finished P25, but was also fighting for the lead when he had a tire cut down. He pulled stage points in both stages for that race. He knows how to get to the front. Looking back at his only win at the track, it was not a points-paying race, but he did win the All-Star race back in the summer of 2020. His last finish at Bristol saw Elliott finishing P2. He had the most green flag passes, running 7th in green flag speed. He was 3rd fastest late in a run and 3rd on 4th segment speed. Don't count this team out Saturday night. They're knocking on the door to a win. All right, our second driver here is the 5 car Kyle Larson. Giving him another run at it. He's got 14 races run at Bristol with an average finish of 12.8. He's got 4 top 5 finishes, finishing up the top 5 in 29% of his races. He's got 9 top 10 finishes over his career. That's finishing up there in the top 10 in over 64% of his runs. Kyle has 850 laps led at the track, averaging out to 60.71 laps led per race, and he does have 1 win. Looking at his stage point picture, he's collected stage points in 13 out of 16 tries, 3 of those being stage wins. At Bristol, Kyle Larson owns the best driver rating among all active drivers in Thunder Valley. Looking back at his last 8 finishes at the track, Kyle has only 1 finish outside the top 10. He owns the best average finish during this period with a 5.3 average finish. Looking back at the last night race in the fall of 2022, Kyle's average running position was 3rd with an average of 6.0. His driver rating also ranked P3. And in terms of speed, Larson was 2nd in green flag speed, was 2nd fastest early, 2nd fastest late in a run, and 4th in 4th segment speed, lending to his P5 finish on the night. This team is already locked into the round of 12, so they can take risks other teams cannot. Look for that 5 car to be one of the ones to beat Saturday night under the lights. And finally, the last driver we'll look at is the 8 car Kyle Busch. Yep, another Chevy. He's got 33 races run with an average finish of 13.7. He has 14 top 5 finishes, finishing up in the top 5 in 42% of his runs. He's got 19 top 10 finishes, finishing up there in 58% of his runs. Kyle has a whopping 2,592 laps led at the track, averaging out to 78.545 laps led per race, and he has 8 wins at the track. Looking at his stage point picture, he's collected stage points in 14 out of 21 tries, 2 of those being stage wins. Now, keeping on the Chevy theme this week has me looking at Kyle Busch for this one. I'm really curious above all to see how this team performs this weekend. Kyle is an elite performer at Bristol, as you heard, winning 8 races over his career, but all in that Toyota. He's had a couple bad finishes over the last 2 races. Last season, losing an engine, finishing P34. Going back 10 races, Kyle has 7 finishes in the top 10, 3 of those being wins, and 2 finishes of P2. We will not be looking at Kyle's loop data or speed rankings from last season, as he was getting junk cars from his team owner Joe Gibbs, as Busch was set to move to another team for the next season. Keep an eye on practice to see how the 8 car performs with this new Chevy team, but I feel he will be a good lock for a top 10 Saturday night. All right, folks, looking at our current playoff points leader, Matt 1121 owns that spot, and our current overall points leader is still Larson 2023. Good luck chasing them down. All right, before I head out, I want to invite you all out to listen to Rowdy Dragon's NASCAR Fantasy Sportsbook over there at TobyChristieCom, breaking down these head-to-head matches. Come on over and check it out. All right, that about concludes it for today. As per usual, thanks for hanging out and listening to the Final Lap Weekly Fantasy segment of the show. I am Rowdy Dragon. We'll talk to you again next week.
There you go, Rowdy Dragon, with your fantasy NASCAR picks and stuff and stats and expertise for Bristol Motor Speedway this weekend.
Trust Rowdy. Do not trust us when it comes to this stuff. Rowdy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I have just been tanking recently, so I'm going to have to start listening to Rowdy.
I listen to Rowdy, and I think I still did badly this past weekend. I haven't checked,
Well,
but
I'm sure it gets to a point where he's like, and you could probably think about this guy or this guy, and you always pick the wrong one out of the two. So
yeah, right. If you leave it up to us, forget it. You need to give us hard, solid, definitive picks.
pick this and only this, and you shall win.
Right, exactly. Why are all the iPhone apps all of a sudden asking for privacy stuff today? I don't know what's going on there.
I think there's probably some new update or something.
Yeah, something's going. Every app is like, do you want to give away your whole life to this app? No.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Who cares?
All right. So how did I do? I'm still ranked 130th overall.
Oh yeah, and you're catching me. So where am I at?
I was 180th at Kansas. Hey, they fixed the app. Now I can find myself quickly. So that's not good.
I am 73rd in our league.
Wow, you're kicking my butt.
Am I?
What did I say?
130 or something?
Yeah, 130. There you go. And what did you say?
I guess 73rd. How
Okay.
am I still 73rd? I did really bad this week.
I don't know. I did pretty terrible too. I scored 168 points, and the leader scored 257.
Somehow I had 214 and was 39th, so I don't know how I did that.
Yeah, that blows. All right. There you have it. Let's get into Bristol Motor Speedway this weekend. It's race number 29 of 36, up for grabs, $8.8 million, and a seat on the catapult into the next round of the playoffs.
We all love that catapult seat, right?
They really got to do that. Hey, they added Daytona at the end of the regular season. We kind of wanted it at the end of the season, but hey, we'll take it. So they are kind of listening to us.
We'll take whatever we can get, but if we can get an actual catapult that launches these guys into the next round, that would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting thrown around at the NASCAR headquarters boardroom.
I mean, obviously they've listened and they're like, you know what? That's really not that bad of an idea. Even if we do a virtual, animated version of it, I'm fine with it. Just give us something like that.
Right. What material should we use on the real one, or should we, test it first, or I don't know.
It's a good question.
Race. The track is a 0.533 mile oval, banking up to 28 degrees, so massive, huge banking. It says here it's equidistant, and I'm going to go with it. 650 feet front and back stretches.
Yes. So the only thing that's not equidistant are the actual turns themselves. One is a little less arcing, a little less sweeping, which makes it look slightly like an egg when you look above it, but the front stretch, back stretch are the same length. So from that aspect, it is equidistant. And if you cut the track in half, it looks the same on both sides.
All right, you say so. I don't agree.
As long as you're going not at the start finish line in half, but the other way in half, it looks the same.
Race is 500 dizzying laps, or 266.5 mile stages. Both 1 and 2 are 125 laps each, and then the final stage weighing in at 250, so that equals 500.
Yes. A lot of laps, a lot of possibilities for things to go right or go wrong for the remaining playoff drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. So last year's pole sitter, is that right? Yeah, Eric Almirola.
I'm surprised it wasn't Christopher Bell.
Yeah, well, there was a Christopher who won the race, though.
That's Buescher. True. Yeah, Chris Buescher, and he's on a hot streak going into this thing. I know things didn't go great at Kansas with the flat tire at the end, but he's been really good lately.
Yeah, he could possibly pull something out. He's not a bad pick for fantasy racing, but don't listen to us. Listen to the guy before us.
Yeah, he would definitely know, but I'm going heavy RFK this week.
Heavy RFK. Is that a new alternative rock band name?
It does kind of sound like one, actually.
Ladies and gentlemen, Heavy RFK!
The RFK is so heavy.
Maybe I shouldn't have any of the alcohol before the show either.
Yeah, that.
All right, so this is the final race. Drivers will be eliminated. Drivers will be sad. Drivers will be mad because it's a short track. So I think we're going to see all of the above. It's going to be like, maybe we should name it the action track.
Ooh, no, don't do that. Every time we do that, it turns out badly. Don't do that.
Track too tough to tame?
Nope.
Oh, Half Mile of Mayhem? Wait, that's
No.
it.
No,
No?
is it? No, that's
I think
not.
it is. Isn't it say that
No,
up on top?
it's the world's fastest half mile, right? Isn't that what it says?
What's the Half Mile of Mayhem then?
That's a great
Is that
question.
is that Martinsville?
Is it? Maybe. I don't
One of
know.
them is of May. Let's see. Yeah, that's Martinsville.
When did they do that?
I don't know, but it says here Half
Must
Mile
have
of
been around the
Mayhem.
same time they made the Charlotte Motor Speedway the Beast of the Southeast.
Right, a fitting name for Martinsville Speedway is what the article says. Okay,
Ah. Mm-hmm.
there's even a decal. Let's look at that. Yeah, there's a
Decal.
decal.
Oh
That's funny.
wow. Why?
Yep. Half Mile of Martinsville Mayhem something. Okay.
Whoa.
I don't think an evil laugh would come through on a sticker, but yeah, that's probably how it'd sound.
Yeah, because then it just looks like ha 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 ha.
Right. No, it needs to have the mwah.
Yeah, but then when you see moi, it kind of sounds like you're like putting like kisses out there or something. So then it's not really
Yeah,
intimidating either.
true. All right, I'm flying over to TobyChristieCom, checking out stuff. What do we got here? Crew chief swap.
Yeah, how about that?
That's thrilling.
You sound so intrigued.
I love a good crew chief swap.
Well, it is interesting because Ben Rhodes is in the middle of a championship battle, and they're swapping his crew chief with Haley Deegan, who's outside the playoffs. They're going to swap crew chiefs going
All
into
right.
Bristol.
So the crew chief that isn't in the playoffs is now in the playoffs?
Yes, but this pairs Ben Rhodes back with his championship winning crew chief, Rich Lucius.
Okay.
And so now they're paired back together.
All right. Chase Elliott takes full blame for frustrations, didn't have full picture of pit road incident with Larson.
Yeah, so on what was it, Tuesday on Sirius
Love the
XM?
headlines.
He popped in on Tuesday and said that everybody talking about this issue between he and Larson, it's nothing. Says that they've talked about it. They see things eye to eye, and that he just didn't understand that they were, there was Keselowski running wide, which caused Larson to swerve into him. So it's a non-issue according to him. Says he has no animosity towards his teammate, which everybody was kind of speculating was the case due to the incidents they've had on track in the past.
They've had some, they've had some incidents.
Yeah, so it's not the first time, which is what led people to think this was an ongoing beef between the two. But Elliott says there's no story there, and anybody looking for drama needs to look elsewhere.
All right, if he says so.
Yes.
We've got Noah Gragson reinstated by NASCAR. He had been suspended since August 5th. Is that long enough? That's like a month.
Yeah, it's a month. So I don't know what the criteria was. I'm sure sensitivity training and a few other things due to liking a insensitive meme on Instagram. But whatever criteria they set forth, he's accomplished it and has done it and has been approved to come back to NASCAR competition.
But he's rideless, or is he going back? Or
no, he's
right?
rideless. So he and his team have parted ways.
Right. Okay.
So who knows?
All right.
Gregson watch is what we're on now.
Are there any cars available?
I mean, there's a couple. The number 11 Xfinity car for Colleague has only announced they've got 4 open races left in it, so that's a possibility.
Okay.
Junior Motorsports he's run for in the past is running the 88 this week with Dale Jr. They could possibly bring that back for him. I don't know, but these are conversations he has to have with teams, and I haven't heard any rumblings of that just yet.
All right. Dale Jr., is he running 2 races or 1?
He's running 1. Well, he's running 2 this year, so he's running Bristol and then Homestead.
That's what I thought. I thought I saw an ad for that because they're pretty proud of that.
Oh yeah, I would be, using that as my marketing strategy as well.
Yeah, and it helps us hosts get our news because it comes across our feed. And, oh, okay, great.
Definitely.
What else we got here? Anything of interest? Anything huge?
There's did you see the Chase Elliott paint scheme for this weekend? I know you're not a huge fan of gold, but it looks pretty cool.
Oh no, really? Where do I find that?
If you go down to the very bottom, it'll show you all the stories we've had, and it should be down there just barely under that first fold.
Very bottom of the entire page? Oh, there, I see it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not terrible.
No, it looks pretty cool. It's got some cool little gold accents on the sides and stuff like
with the
that.
black and everything. Yeah, that's not terrible.
Yeah, so Napa Gold Filters is the sponsor. It looks really, really cool. Interesting stuff. We've also got another interesting story here. I know we've talked about Ryan Vargas a little bit in the past. He's been kind of a part-time Xfinity Truck Series guy. He's going to be running a race in Germany, Kerry, with 3F
Wow,
Racing.
that's cool. I've been to Germany last year, actually. Driving the
There you go.
Autobahn, so cool. No speed
How
limits.
how fast do you go?
I went about 110 before I, started clenching my cheeks.
How badly do your cheeks clench?
Well, when you're going that speed, but it was fun, and it's a whole other level of driving, and you've got to know their rules. So I watched a bunch of YouTube videos on how to drive the Autobahn ahead of time, so I kind of knew what to expect. It is nothing like driving here in the U.S. We're talking
Interesting.
pristine roads, no trash on the side. The roads are nice and smooth, and those speeds. I mean, the Germans know how to drive. We are out to lunch when it comes to driving. We have no clue how to drive here in the U.S. when you compare it to the German drivers. They are like all race car drivers over there. It's amazing.
Incredible. Incredible. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think we do need stiffer driving regulations here and like show people how to actually do it instead of what's this sign mean? Go out there. Good luck.
If we had unlimited speed limits here, it would be just a bloodbath. I'm being fully honest. We don't know how to drive at those speeds, so it's
Heck,
good we
even
have
with speed limits, it's a bloodbath around here.
exactly. So, but yeah, I got the car up to like I said, 110 miles an hour. I don't remember what that was in kilometers, but it was kind of creepy. I mean, we were flying by cars. We were in the left lane, and the middle lane, we were making them look like they were standing still. It was amazing. So,
Incredible.
yep,
Incredible.
it was fun.
So one other headline going into the next round of the playoffs, Carrie. NASCAR has chose to reinstall stage cautions for the Charlotte Roval.
Okay, is it because of boredom?
Is it because of boredom? I think NASCAR considers it that maybe the road course races have been a little more boring, but their official reasoning was they want consistent rules for all races in the playoffs.
And they hadn't thought of that before?
Apparently not. So
Okay.
I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like this whole changing things mid-season when it's been one way or the other. I just
I
really
mean,
wish we
those
could have stuck with
are
it.
way more strategy-driven kind of races, so you kind of have to tell the crew chiefs ahead of time so they know how to, plan for that.
Yeah, I still wish like so you made the move. People liked it because it was like, oh, cool, we're gonna actually get back to real racing, no stage breaks, no gimmicks, whatever. And so there was a
Right.
little bit more strategy involved at these road course races. And now you remove it, and it feels kind of weird. It feels like this is driven because the last like at Indianapolis we had a guy that wasn't the guy they wanted to win. Maybe you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just
Why didn't
it just
they go the other way and
I
just
don't
remove
know.
it?
Well, yeah. Why can't we remove stages from everything else and just
Right.
But that's not what we want to do. We want to keep making this as gimmicky as possible, I guess.
All right. Gimmicky is good, I guess, in this business, so I don't know.
I
But
guess.
I did see that, and I hadn't processed it yet until just now, so it's kind of cool to, do that as we do the show.
Yeah, and the thing that I think is also more interesting about this wasn't even just the stage break portion of it, but they're actually moving the restart zone as well to inside the last little chicane on the front stretch. Which,
Really?
yeah, in
Oh
years
my
past,
gosh.
under caution, you don't use the chicane. You just go straight off, and
Yep.
you do that. They're going to use the final chicane in the caution laps, and that will be where the restart zone is.
Wow. Well,
So
they're looking
chaos will
for.
be happening.
I was going to use the same word. Yeah, they should. Are they trying to rename the track?
I think so. So obviously the leaders have a huge advantage because they don't have to worry about a bunch of people plowing in from behind them at 40,000 miles an hour past what they're supposed to be going into that turn. The
Yeah.
guys at the very back are going to be trying to make up time, and it's going to be bad. I don't like it.
All right. Well, we'll see it in a few weeks, right?
We sure will. I'll be there. It'll be fun.
Well, yeah, I would hope so. You live right there. Bristol, Texas, Talladega. Oh, it's a little while. Yep. Just looking at. I had to print this out because, that's just easier to grab.
Man.
It's right off to the side. I can grab it. Cat hasn't eaten this one yet, so that's good. This is
That
like
is
my
good.
third one. Yeah. So I think we're done. I think we're prepared. We're mentally ready to go for Bristol Motor Speedway this weekend, the final race in this round of the playoffs. So drivers, like we mentioned, are going to be eliminated. They're going to be mad. They're going to be, going all out to get to that next round. They want to sit in that catapult.
What do you think? Does Martin Truex Jr. advance, Kerry? Yes or
He's
no?
out. He's done. Toast.
Wow, you're with me on that.
Yeah, he's done.
Okay.
It's not looking good in his favor at this track. His point situation, no, he's done. So
Wow. Well, there you go. Final
it
lap
shows
weekly.
just how fast this sport can change. I mean, on a dime.
He went from championship favorite to he's
Right.
out.
He's out.
Get rid of
Done.
him.
Forget it. You know us media, we're only on the last race. You're only as good as your last race. So
Well, and of course, since both of us have picked against him, he will now naturally advance. So
right. He'll lead every lap. He'll win both stages, dominate, right?
Yeah, totally.
And unfortunately, I think the same for the other four. I think the four that are in the bottom are done. I think that's just it.
It's going to be hard. The only way to get out of there is to win because of how 7 points is a lot at Bristol when you have a guy like Kevin Harvick who will probably be finishing top 10. All those other guys have been spot on to this point. I just think it's going to take a win. I don't know if any of them are capable of doing it at Bristol.
Well, I can't wait to watch Saturday night this week, right?
Yes, Saturday night.
Okay, so we got Sunday off. I have to make some plans or something, I guess. So check that out. Saturday night under the lights. Checkered flag is flying on the show. This has been the Final Lap Weekly. Catch us next week right here when we will recap the racing at Bristol Motor Speedway, and we'll be previewing Texas. Yes,
Ooh.
Texas is up next. And all the stories in between. Toby, you, and I will chat next week.
We sure will. It'll be a good time. Definitely.
Time now for our giant list of Patreon paying people. Patreon.com/thefinallap. Join in on the giving fun.
And join on the revolution. We've got tons of people, Kerry. You ready for this list?
Tons. Let's do it.
Yes. We've got our sponsors like we talked about at the top of the show. We've got Devin, Louisville Max, David Letchworth, and of course Joe Bike. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate you. But we have a slew of other folks that also contribute to this show, and let's mention them right now. We've got oh my gosh, it's been a week and I'm sick. How do I pronounce it's Lalo, right?
We were saying Lalo, so yeah.
I think it's so. Lalo, right?
Okay.
Lalo,
we have
thank you.
Terrible memories.
Hey, it's been a week, man. I'm so sorry. If it's wrong, let me know again. I will correct it, I promise. We've got Robert Keene, Jimmy B, Mr. Jimmy James, 1983, Quentin Whitaker, met him at Daytona yet again. Awesome dude. Super cool family as well. Simon Green from across the pond, Troy Clark from down under. We've got Peter Johansson, David Reed, James Maples II, Evan Taylor, Mike Hamilton, Nick Reed, Scott Clark, Justin Kapusenskas. I'm sure he was wagging his fist at Chase Elliott last Sunday. And, of course, we've got Charles K. Miller, longtime listener of the show, longest tenured listener that I'm aware of. And that concludes our list. Back to you, Kerry.
I went and listened to the YouTube video again. It's Lalo.
Okay. Sweet.
Lalo. Did
Lalo.
we get that right?
Yes.
Okay. I have a feeling I should probably bookmark that page and watch that video more often.
It would probably be a very good idea.
I don't know why we can't get that straight, but if we're messing up anybody else's names, send us a YouTube video, apparently, of the pronunciation. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's really cool. So, if anybody we mispronounce, butcher anything, let us know. We'll correct it.
What is this YouTube channel that just does pronunciations?
I'm sure it makes a lot of money. That's probably pretty popular.
I don't know. There's only 375 total views.
Well, on that one name, right. Look at all the other names, though. I'm sure it's
I don't know. That seems like a big project to come up with all those.
AI do it or something.
Well, maybe, yeah. That damn AI is taking all of our jobs.
Yeah, totally.
They'll be here soon enough.
Yeah, it's okay.
They're gonna know everything about the sport. They're learning.
Rest.
Well, without any money, sure, we can rest.
Yeah, because I'm sure they'll divide everything that these bots are making to distribute amongst all of us that have been replaced, right?
Yes, that's the plan, I'm sure. Yeah.
They're like, oh, these guys have been working so hard for so long. How do we help them? Oh, we'll put these robots in place, and then we'll distribute the cash back to them, of course.
I don't think so. I think we're screwed.
Are you
Have
sure?
you not seen the movie I, Robot? I
Oh,
watched it again
yeah.
recently. Yeah.
It's been a while, but yeah.
Not good.
How do the
All
graphics
right,
hold up on that thing?
let's watch Bristol this weekend, and you and I will convene again next week right here.
Yes, we will.